And welcome back to American Agenda. Here's an update on some of the major coronavirus stories around the world. Russia saw a record rise in new coronavirus cases and deaths today. The data suggests the world's biggest country by territory has overtaken China and Iran in confirmed infections. The figures mean that Russia now ranks 8th worldwide for the number of confirmed cases, although its death toll does remain low. The country has been on lockdown since late March. We had a reporter showing us that today when we talked to him last hour, and President Putin has yet to say whether that will be extended into May. In Germany, retailers are trying to persuade the government to let bigger stores go back to normal operations soon. Small stores, car dealers, and bookstores were allowed to reopen last week if they stuck to strict social distancing rules, and customers have behaved prudently following the rules. Austria will take further steps to ease its lockdown. Events with up to 10 people will be allowed, and the public will no longer need a specific reason to leave home. Austria acted early in its coronavirus outbreak with a shutdown 6 weeks ago. Bigger shops and hairdressers may follow on May 1st. The public has repeatedly been told to stay at home, though that was largely advice rather than a legal requirement.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom urged residents on Monday to stay away from crowded beaches after people flocked to the coast over the weekend. Libby Hogan has more on that story.
The sun's out and the temptation to sunbathe or play volleyball on the beach has led people to flock to the coast, ignoring health warnings. And on Monday, people were seen gathering at Orange County's Huntington Beach. This has prompted California's Governor Gavin Newsom to urge residents on Monday to stay away from crowded beaches.
We have made real progress in this state over the course of the last number of weeks. And that's why I want to just confront the topic that is top of mind. And those are the images we saw over the weekend, the images down in Orange County and Ventura County on our beaches. Those images are an example of what not to see. People what not to do.
Newsom warned locals they would put at risk California's progress in slowing the advance of the coronavirus. However, local officials in Orange and Ventura counties have allowed access to their beaches. Health authorities have stood firm, criticizing people crowding the shoreline, and Newsom raised the risk that this behavior could possibly delay further loosening of limits that he says could be around the corner.
The reality is we are just a few weeks away, not months away, from making measurable and meaningful changes to our stay-at-home order. That is a very optimistic point to emphasize. However, that's driven by data. It's driven by behavior. This virus doesn't take the weekends off. This virus doesn't go home.
Well, California isn't the only state where people are flocking to beaches. Florida and Georgia have also allowed residents to have fun in the sun on their shores. So should we open beaches and just trust that people will socially distance? We welcome back author and Newsmax contributor Tom Basile to react. Tom, what's your take? Should we open up beaches or not?
Well, look, it's always a balancing act, right? And, the newsflash for the American people is that this virus is, and whether or not we open our economy doesn't have everything to do with Donald Trump or your governor or the healthcare service. Personal responsibility is not only the best way that we are going to be able to move these states and these communities from phase 1 to phase 3, but also protect our freedom and our civil liberties. The best way that we can do that is where you're given an opportunity is to continue to make reasonable accommodations for the greater good, whether that's, social distancing, when you're going to a store that's newly opened, washing your hands, not going to work if you're not feeling well, and also taking the initiative to get tested. That's something that a couple of months ago we really weren't able to talk about, but we certainly can do that now. Taking the initiative to get tested if you think that you have the virus, because carriers, as Dr. Birx was talking about just yesterday, carriers can be completely asymptomatic and can pass the virus on to other people.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. People have to take responsibility. I think you should be able to go to the beach, but you need to socially distance. Being out in the sun seems like a good thing, but you got to keep your distance. Doesn't look like all those people were necessarily doing that. So let me switch it to, I don't know if you live in New Jersey or New York, but that area, tell me your feel for how close it is to getting back to business.
Look, I think that certain parts of upstate New York will probably open by the end of the month. The Governor Cuomo is being very cautious, but we're still seeing some pretty significant numbers in the New York City metro area suburbs, which includes parts of New Jersey and Connecticut. I know you probably want to get back home, and I certainly want to get out of my house. But I think that area is probably going to take longer. But still, we're also, as we start making this progress, what's going to keep it going and moving forward in positive momentum and getting this economy open again is going to be about how people behave and how responsible they are when they have the opportunity to get out.
So, Tom, what you're saying is don't miss these opportunities, right? When you're given these freedoms and these opportunities, take advantage of them and do the responsible thing.
Absolutely. Look, we know from the data now that this virus behaves like others, in which UV light, heat, and humidity kill the virus. The president said, if you have an opportunity to be outside, be outside. That's okay. But you need to be responsible in the way that you are starting to return to some sense of normalcy here.
Yeah, thank you, Tom, and stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you in our New York studio sometime soon once again. So there's something normal down there somewhere.